Marissa Wilkinson. We'll start with a statement from Coach Kirsten Bergdahl-Luder.
Well, first of all, I ache for Northern Iowa. I know what a great team they are. I think our players, we play them every single year. That our players have great respect for them, and I thought they stuck it to us. They got their rhythm, got in system, and really, obviously dominated Game 4, and Game 3 was a battle. So it was a great volleyball match. As I said to them walking in, I think 3 months ago in August, we wouldn't have won that 5th game. I think we're mentally tougher now. And, by the midway through or late in the 4th game, I think everyone knew we weren't going to win that game. And it was about just getting kind of mentally refocused for the 5th game. And I thought that we did that. I really liked that we went out there, and I thought worked to win the 5th game as compared to hoping things would happen. I thought we put pressure on them again in the 5th game. But really happy for this group. It's a great win. And we're looking forward to the opportunity to play the Kansas-Sanford winner tomorrow night.
Thank you, Coach. We'll open it up for questions for the student athletes first.
I guess for Jaylee and Marissa, how tired were you guys in those 4th and 5th games? Obviously Northern Iowa wasn't making it easy for you on the points anyway. They were pretty much digging everything you put over there. So, how much did you have to battle through the fatigue and all that, along with what Northern Iowa was doing?
I guess that really wasn't going through my head. It was a long 5 sets, but all I was really thinking about is that our season's not over yet, and we gotta all play for each other. So that's really all that was going through my head.
Yeah, UNI gave us their toughest battle. I know they lead in digs per set, and they really made us work for everything for every kill we got. So props to them. They really made it difficult on us.
Jaylee, how much determination does it take when you're playing a team like that just doesn't go away? They fight off 2 match points, and all of a sudden you find yourself in a 5th set there.
Yeah, it not only does it take determination, but it's really just making sure everyone stays calm. And that goes for everyone on the team. It's just everyone making sure that they're bringing positive vibes and good energy to the floor, and just making sure that we're not getting too rattled and just staying in it and working towards that next point.
You talked about their defense. How frustrating was it for you two that everything you're hitting seems to be coming right back at you?
Yeah, well, we try not to get frustrated. We just try to take a deep breath, settle down, and move on to the next play. But, it's hard, but that's what we work for. We prepare for those long rallies, so.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be a dogfight, and they're a really scrappy team, and, we knew that, so.
But I have to point out, Brittany led the whole match in digs significantly at 32. We outdug them tonight. So, I thought they showed what they're doing defensively, but I thought, particularly Brittany, but several of our other players, Kinsey had a great night defensively, that, our goal was to match them of what they were doing defensively.
Do you feel good about how you played defensively?
In some capacities, I feel really good. I thought there were a couple breakdowns at different times that we can talk about, but I thought some players really did a great job defensively tonight.
We'll continue with the student athletes first.
Brittany, you know what Northern Iowa likes to do. You know what they're good at coming in. I guess how much of a focus was it this week in preparation, and then obviously tonight, dig transition, making sure you're getting balls in the air when they put it over the net?
I think definitely, we had a game plan, and we knew the tendencies of all the hitters. So I think defensively, you just had to, throughout the long rallies, you just had to stay focused and remember those. You can't just go to a spot. So I think we did really well this game, that we just kept reminding that their tendencies, and just knew even during the long rallies that we had to stay focused and watch where they were going.
What were your nerves like dealing with this stage for the first time?
I think I controlled them pretty well at the beginning. I was fine and steady flowing towards the end in the 4th set. But I think our team does really well of not showing our emotions and staying pretty calm. So I think we handled it pretty well.
I guess for any of you want to tackle it, you guys haven't been in the moral victory business for quite some time now. What did that 5th set say about this group? They have all the momentum. They dominated the 4th set. It was really looking like you guys were reeling at that point. What did it take for you guys to dig that one out?
Character. Took a lot of heart. I mean, we'd been in these 5-set situations before, and we knew that we'd been there. We knew that we'd practiced for this. But just to see everyone stay together, especially during that tough 4-set loss, it was really cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, all of our hard work paid off. Like, at the beginning of the season, we weren't winning those 5th sets, and so it's, like, great to see how far we've come and how much more we can do.
You all had a 5-set match with Kansas back in September. What stands out in your minds about that particular match? I know it was a while.
Yeah, what? I remember that the setter broke our laptop. That's really what I remember. Yeah, I remember just how scrappy they are, and that was obviously one of the very scrappy plays. So I know that they're going to get after it, and obviously we're going to get after it too. So it'll be a great battle if they win. Sorry.
I definitely think after that game, I just remember that we were like, we could have won that, we should have won that. So I think definitely going into tomorrow's match, if they win, like, we definitely want revenge. But I think coming out of that game, like, we knew that we could have won it. So I think we just, like, it made us work even harder throughout the season to, like, win those 5th sets.
Take 1 or 2 more for the athletes.
Do you have any?
Oh, I would just say after that game, I think that's when we realized how good we are. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited for the rematch if it comes.
All right, thanks, ladies.
So I start. Thanks. We'll talk about it. Okay.
No, don't do that.
Questions for Coach Booth?
It's like every time you needed to kill, to Marissa and Jaylee, they were pretty efficient, especially end of those games that were really, tight at the point where they started going off. I know you talked about them a lot, especially Jaylee, but how big were they in those moments?
They were big, and that was really a scout issue. Northern Iowa was jumping with our middles every single time. So we just told our middles, you're not going to get a lot of sets tonight, So, I think we told them going in, when obviously we played Northern Iowa in August, and they were doing that. So we told them, be prepared. If they're going to jump, we're going to let them jump and hopefully open things up. I thought, Jaylee was really effective early. I thought they made some adjustments on Jaylee. They started releasing out to her and putting more hands into her, and I thought they started to dig her. Marissa, they really never had an answer because Marissa one-on-one is lethal. So to some degree, teams have to make decisions, and I get that because if they'd started doubling there, we would have gone someplace else. But, I thought Marissa really stepped up at endgame, and it was great to see.
I guess defensively, Brittany was, doing her darndest out there, diving all over the floor. For a true freshman in that, in that moment, to have to deal with all that pressure and still come up, to keep the ball off the floor.
Brittany's a winner. When we recruited her not just because she was a great libero, but because we'd seen her in tight situations and how she responded and how she played did not surprise me. I thought she followed game plan. She had different setups on a couple of their hitters, and I thought she was locked in and made plays based on that. She wants the ball, and that's what you want from the libero.
She's not here, but Lauren Smith's blocking towards the end of that match seemed to kind of flip the momentum that was getting away from you back to your side of the net to a degree and help you kind of get an advantage in that 5th set.
Right, Lauren didn't get a lot of balls tonight offensively, and I thought, then it's your opportunity to shine from a blocking standpoint. She got a big block, and we'd worked all week on trying to drop the hand, and I thought, she had a great hand drop to get a big block in the 5th game.
What do you remember about that Kansas match other than that laptop getting busted?
It's more, I've watched a lot of Kansas film as of late as compared to August. I think, everyone talks about Payne. Payne did not play well against us. So we obviously know that she's kind of got her mojo going. I think their libero is one of the best liberos in the country. We can't let her get overly involved. And I think Rigdon's their glue. That kid does it all, has, you set up one way and she's going to go someplace else. And then they've got awesome pieces around between Susie. I know their freshman Burris is coming out. Hill's developing. And then obviously their setter's a stud, and she can break laptops. So, and they're well coached, and they're going to be on their home court. So, all those things are going to make it a tough battle. But we're excited. I think we believe, and just as they're going to believe. And, we'll come out swinging and see what happens.
You mentioned you feel like you're a lot mentally tougher than you were, say, in August. I mean, is that part of the confidence? You feel like it's kind of a better?
Yeah, what would happen in early August is we'd get tentative. And, I mean, against Northern Iowa, and we said this, the absolute worst thing you can do is if you get stressed, become passive, because that feeds into their game. You have to stay the aggressor. And you saw that because in game 3 and 4, our serving got softer and they were in system because I think we got nervous. So that's where some development has come, because what we saw in 5th games in August was we got passive in a lot of things that we were doing, hoping teams would make errors. And at this level, you have to go win it and then let, the chips fall.
Take a couple more questions for Coach.
So what did you say to the group after losing the 4th set decisively before the 5th set? Because, like I mentioned to them, you guys haven't really wanted to hear about, moral victories the last couple of years. You guys playing to win, playing to move
Yeah.
on. And the 5th set kind of.
Well, as we saw the 4th game, we were losing it. As players were coming out, because most of our team, is subbing in and out, we grabbed them and said, let this go. We got to regroup. I knew I didn't know we'd win, but I sure knew that we weren't going to fold. And we fortunately, been in a 5th game last week against Villanova, as you're aware. And I think, and we'd really dominated that 5th game. So I think that gave us good confidence going in. We always say the best and worst thing about volleyball is you go back to 0. So, I knew we'd come out and fight. I think those first 2 points to start the game that Kinsey got, I don't remember how we won the first one, but then Weber missed one. And I do think it was line. I think Northern Iowa thought it was in, and we'll see what the film says, or wide. But it was close. I think those 2 points were big to just give us kind of some confidence as we move forward in that game.
Any last question?
You said you thought it was line or wide there?
I thought it was wide,
Okay.
but I wasn't on the line. I mean, I think Northern Iowa thought it was in, so we'll see it's when you need challenge review, right? So, but, my vantage point, I'm biased, so, who knows? But I think those points were big as far as giving momentum, and I did like, they got back up, at 7-7? I don't remember if we were tied at 8-8, but I liked how we responded in those situations. We kind of stepped up, and I thought those were critical moments of whether Northern Iowa was going to take the momentum again, kind of like they did in the 3rd and 4th game. But I liked how we responded, so that was good to see.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Matt or Mike, are you going to need anybody else from Creighton? Matt, are you? Okay.
Then you'll need to follow you now.
No, I'll stay here and do this.
Okay.
If we leave, we'll get on the phone.
Yeah. Sounds good.
And I'm staying, but the team's going back.
No, the team will watch it.
Oh, are they watching? Okay.
I'll just find
Just,
you.
come find us.
you have no time to write about it. Yeah, you got a tight window. Seemed like they took a while with some players out of the conference tournament. I thought they gave them to you guys first. I don't know that.
All right, we're joined by Piper Thomas, head coach Bobby Peterson, and Kayla Heinlein.
Coach, if you would please start us off.
Okay. I guess the only thing I'll say to start with is that I could not be prouder of this group of young ladies and this team and what they've been about all year. I thought it was a great first, it was the first NCAA match of the 2016 season. We were the first one, and I thought it was a great battle by both teams giving a lot of effort and fight. And as far as our team goes, I couldn't be prouder of what they have done and what they've accomplished the entire year, but hanging in there and showing the fight and grit that they've had all season in tonight's match as well.
Thank you. We'll open it up to the student athletes for questions, please.
Okay, well, can you talk a little about the team's mood at intermission and what you guys were able to, what was kind of that message or what you're able to do to kind of turn things around here tonight?
A lot of it has to do with what has happened in the past. Today is December 1st, and we talked about it as a team, and it's the same day that back in 2001, is that correct? 2001, we played Minnesota, and UNI moved on. And it was just huge motivation for us, just having that fight from that team and having that grit that they had kind of motivated us through this match. And when we came out at intermission, we were very, very excited just because we were very confident. We believed in ourselves, and we knew what we were capable of. And I think that a lot of people stepped up, and a lot of people decided that this is what we wanted. And I think that as a team, I'm very proud of our overall effort and very, very proud to be part of this team.
Piper, it seemed like that you got that momentum rolling there. Sets 3 and 4, and you'd have a big kill, a big block. Can you just talk a little bit about that surge that your team was able to make to get back into this?
Yeah, definitely. The last week and the last season, we've all just been pushing for this game, and when you're out on the court, it's a whole different atmosphere, especially here in this gym, and we were all just trying to feed off of each other and try to get some momentum going, especially since we lost the first 2 sets. So.
What was going through your heads at 24-22 in Game 3? Obviously, that's not an ideal situation, but you were able to pull it out. It seemed like sucked all the momentum to your side of the net, for the next, 30-some points, 40-some points. What changed in that moment?
I think a lot of it just had to do with a unbelievable belief in ourselves as a team, and we in practices we have done that in drills. We've been down 22-24 and came back, and I think that helped us with our confidence on the court, and I think that
and going through this season with their first ever Big 12 championship.
And it took a lot of energy and effort, and I think they're honestly happy that maybe is behind them, and they're trying to make a really deep run once again in the tournament. But first, in front of them is Samford, and they're playing extremely well. They're a very hot team that was able to win the SoCon Conference.
All right, take a look at these two teams and how they stack up. You talk about Kansas and the player of the year, the libero of the year, the setter of the year in the Big 12. How does Samford compare?
Very well. I mean, look at that attacking percentage very closely. But what the difference is Kansas' ability to limit the opponent's attacking percentage. And that is a combination of digs per set, and then also they're blocking and working at a collective effort. But Samford isn't going to shy away. They're going to have to be the aggressor in this match.
And Samford led by their senior Aaron Bognar, a 6'2", player, outside hitter who's had an outstanding season.
And you're talking about 10th in the nation in total
Oh, we
kills.
definitely don't
I don't
like,
care what conference you're
giving
playing.
other
That's
teams easy time. We like
tremendous. She has a
battling, we
heavy
like the
arm.
fight,
She's
and
very
we like
active.
the
And then
all-out
Kelsey
brawl
Payne on the other end
points,
for
and
Kansas, a Big
it's
12
very,
Player
very
of the
exciting
Year,
to have that, and I
extremely
think that
athletic, and she has the
taking
ability to
them to
hit at a
5
level
is
over the
something
top of the
that
block that
we
some
will
other players can't
continue to
do.
fight through,
She's
and I think
tremendous on that right side.
We saw a tremendous match to open up play as Creighton beat Northern Iowa in 5 sets. This volleyball action has just been incredible. We'll see another good one as Kansas plays host to Samford. First serve coming your way from Lawrence, Kansas. Next, here on ESPN.
Stuff like that. I mean, that's our team. That's who we are, and that's who we're gonna try to keep to be.
What types of adjustments did you guys make on the block to slow down Winters there after intermission?
Definitely just speeding up on your press, just getting low and tight over the net, closing holes in the blocks, and just trying to read her shoulder and where she might be going, where she might be planning to go, and try to press to that.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Ladies, you're excused to go.
Thank you. Thank you.
Go ahead and open up to Coach for questions, please.
Coach, you feel like this team had it in them down 2 sets? It seemed like their belief was so high. Just your thoughts on kind of where the team was out, at going into that third game.
It's one of those things that you go in the locker room, and obviously as coaches we talk beforehand about adjustments we want to make and things we maybe game plan wise we weren't executing that we were supposed to. But you always go in and you try to just get a sense of what they're feeling by the look in their eye and what the conversation has been about. We always have them talk a little bit first. And I felt really strongly that I really didn't know what was going to happen, whether we'd lose in 3 or win in 5. But I felt like because of their attitude in the locker room, it wasn't fake excitement. It wasn't fake, we can do this. It was the look in their eye like, okay, we can definitely do this. So I knew at least we would give it a fight. Again, I don't know exactly what would happen. So I guess that was encouraging as a coach, knowing that, okay, I feel really good about this. I feel good the things that I'm going to be communicating from the bench are going to be game plan adjustment type things, and it's not going to have to be to get them in a position to be focused and ready to go.
I know the players have some amount of control over the situation versus how much a coach sitting aside has, but what's going through your mind at 24-22?
Shayla Phillip, Morgan St. Germain. They don't give us a domain.
It's easy to say, okay, we were fighting for every point when you end up on the winning side of that. But I think, obviously I was really proud of their fight back in game 3. So, it's one of those you kind of just throw your hands up and you have execution of what you want to do in that play. And like Piper said, we really try to focus
I was going to keep the pronunciation there because I was
what we're doing in that point and what your responsibility is in that one point. And I thought they did a really good job of that. It was a tough rotation for them. They've scored a lot of points in that rotation. So I was really proud of their ability to focus in on what they were supposed to do execution-wise. I didn't think we got any easy points in that 24-22 time. So they
Welcome
earned
back to
them,
Lawrence
and,
Talent.
just
Lawrence,
really proud of that.
Kansas.
And,
we are ready for
it worked out
Kansas
that we were able
and
to tie it up
Samford as the two teams are introduced.
And they're just, it's again one of those
Lee
things.
Fleisig,
You're
Jill
looking at
Dorsey
them,
Hall
and
with
it's like,
you.
okay, who's going to be the one passing this ball? And who
The
do we
Jayhawk
want to be
fans found some
passing the
tickets,
ball
it sounds
and look in
like.
their eye, but I'm like,
They did.
A lot of crimson and blue in the stands.
They were creative.
I'm very proud of that because it's it's the NCAA tournament and the match is on the line.
Here in Horace Freeman
They
Athletic
have a lot of
Center.
emotions that they're feeling.
It took a while for this
some
one
of
to
those
start.
kids, it could be their last match of their life.
We had
so
an
to be
epic
able to-
5-setter.
I think
before
volleyball is a
this one could
sport
get
where
going.
yes, you can get.
Let's take a look at the
but
keys to the
it's
match as
the
you see it
techniques that
here
you use
between
for the skills that you
Samford,
perform. It takes
the
control of
Bulldogs,
emotions.
the
You have to
champions
be
of the
able to
Southern
control that
Conference,
emotion, So I thought our kids did a good job of that.
and the
Obviously, you
Kansas
saw some
Jayhawks. What does
scattered
Samford have to
plays
do to
within
pull
the
the
match
giant
by
upset
both
here?
teams,
Well, you're a clear
just
underdog,
little
but
bit of
you have to
emotion
be
being away
aggressive.
from
You have to go here with
both teams
nothing to
at times,
lose. And I think
but I thought
balanced
both teams
attack.
also
They
did a
have a
really
couple
good
players. I think the
job
right
of
side
honing
player
in
is
a little
great
bit and,
as well. And
controlling
try to
those
create
emotions
some
as well.
one-on-one matchups. And when you can be in system, they have an interesting 5-1 system that they run, but they utilize 2 setters essentially. in,
Well,
in
being
their
honest,
offensive
I
set,
was
but
pretty
trying to get those
disappointed
one-on-one
going
matches
to
when you
our
can take
attack.
advantage of it.
I felt like we were trying to be all
And for the
about
hometown
shots,
Jayhawks,
and,
Kansas,
we're not a team that's
coming
gonna
off
do
its
that.
first ever
We have
Big
to
12
establish
championship.
something before
What do they need
we're
to
going
do?
have
Well, they
shots
led
that
the
are
Big 12 in
available.
aces
So I
per
thought
set,
we were,
and they
not
have to
as
serve
aggressive as we
aggressive.
needed
That's
to
going
be.
to
We didn't
limit
give
the
them an
options
opportunity-
that
or give
Sanford's
us an
going to have,
opportunity
and
to
just
see how
take
they
care
were
of business. I
defending
think
us
it's going to take
because we weren't
energy and
executing on the
effort right out of the
offensive
gates. You
side,
cannot take
like I felt
anyone
we
in
needed
this
to.
tournament
And
lightly,
part of that
because
was I
everyone
thought we
playing
were
in December
struggling.
is going to be a great
They
team.
were really fast
So
in
that
transition.
energy
They
has
did a
to be
really good
consistent
job,
throughout.
and
And we've
I
seen
felt like we were always
Kansas
trying
have to
catch
expend
up,
a lot
which,
of energy
puts a
to
lot of
win
stress on
the
our
Big 12
offense as
title.
well.
They've been pushed to
It's
5
we're not
often.
the team that's gonna
As
have
of
that
late,
big gun
essentially
that's
their
gonna
last
take
3
care of the ball.
matches,
We
they've
have to
been
be
pushed to
in
5. You're
system.
looking
We have to
there at a
have
good look at
everybody,
head coach Ray
working
Bouchard
and
of
trying to pull
Kansas, the
blocks
Big
at
12
least.
Coach of the Year.
So I felt like we were just
Again, and
really
I had to call him
fast-paced all the time
actually
instead of
today, and I said, "Hey,
controlled
Coach,
offensively." So we
congrats." He's like,
talked
"Well,
about that a
I
lot
thought the Baylor
in the
coach,
locker room,
should
you know,
maybe
taking
gotten
shots
it."
that
I'm
we
like,
had,
he's just
working
such a
hard to
humble
hit off the
guy,
block,
and
we were
you
getting shots
talk to
around the
so
block
many
and
coaches, and there's such
around
great
the block,
respect
and
between
yes,
these
we're not
two
getting
coaches.
blocked, but we're also not
And head
putting
coach
any stress
Chan
on
for
their defense as well.
Sanford
So
is just
I
that
thought we
he's
did
such a
really
humble
good job of
person.
picking
I
that
mean,
up. I thought,
he's built this
Heather
program and
made
this
better
culture, and
decisions.
the first one to say,
They tried to
I
get
thought
the
somebody
ball
else
to
maybe
people
should
that
have
were high.
gotten it
Staying
over
away
me.
from
And
our
for the
middle,
first
because we
ever
got
Big
blocked a
12
couple
title
times, and I'm like,
for
we're gonna
your
get blocked. We gotta keep running our
your
middles and
team. I mean,
That pretty
that's
much
something that
qualifies
said.
you.
Yeah.
So I thought we
It's amazing. We spent a little time with him on Tuesday here at KU, and as we were getting ready to tape an interview, some of the basketball staff was walking by and they're, "Hey, Big 12 champs, Big 12." They can appreciate what it means to win a Big 12 championship,
it's
and not only
tough
that, but to
because
win it
those two are up
outright
at the
and to
same
take care of
time
business
twice,
when they had to
and
close
that
out the
puts a
season
lot of
at
stress on
Baylor
your
to win it
defense,
all by
and
themselves.
we
And
took
they've
some
won a
risks,
couple of the
here
basketball
and
teams
there.
now,
Exactly.
so.
So they can
One day,
appreciate
commit
what that
on
means
one,
to call
and it
yourself a
worked out
Big
a few
12
times for
champion
us,
and to
it
do it
worked out
outright.
a few
So the
times for us
Jayhawks
as
come in
well,
here
but I felt
with a
like
great deal of
because they were in
confidence,
system
obviously,
so
and trying to
much,
extend what has
that we
been
had to take
an
some risks
incredible 12
blocking-wise.
months of
We
volleyball
adjusted our
here
block
at the
a little
University of
bit on
Kansas.
Jaylee.
And not only that,
I
but the
thought we were
last 5
blocking a little
years
bit
they've
too
been
much
able to
line,
host,
and she was
not
kind of just
necessarily
having her way.
always
The
in
other
Horace
thing with
Mann
Jaylee
Athletic
is
Center, but
she's
be
that
a
kid
top
that looks like she
16
has no
team
approach,
where
but
you're
she's
able to
gonna bring
host
heat,
the
and
first and second
we
round.
talked
They
about
played
that
a
at the
couple years
beginning,
now at
but I
Fieldhouse.
think
They
being
played a
out
year
there,
because of
you just
facility
don't
issues
understand
and
that. You don't see a lot of kids that
facility
have no approach
constraints
and
in
hit every
Topeka,
angle
and then
still
last
and still
season in
bring a lot of
Horace, and
heat.
once
So
again
it took
back
us a
here
while to
in the
understand,
volleyball
okay, we have to be
facility.
ready in defense. We have to put a
You
block
know you're
up
doing
even
something
though it
right
looks
as a
like
program
she's not
if you're able to
gonna do much with
host,
the ball.
and they're
I
an
thought we
elite
adjusted
company
better
of
to
the
that.
teams that have just been able to host for 5 straight years.
All right, the Kansas Jayhawks in their whites, trimmed in crimson and blue. Sanford will be in the red, trimmed in blue.
Felt like we could win the match, so
Creighton Eisler
proud
steps
of
back
the
for the
growth that we've
Bulldogs,
had,
ready to
this
serve.
season. I think both teams have grown a lot since we
We
played
watched
each other,
Creighton beat Northern
way back
Iowa in 5
September,
sets,
so,
and
Creighton's
this one
an
is
amazing
underway.
team.
Madison Rigdon takes
we're
it for
obviously
Kansas, up to
rooting for
Kelsey
them
Payne,
now.
and the Payne train is rolling
like I
early.
said, we
And
came here to win,
don't forget,
and
she was
we
injured.
fell
She had
short
an
of
ankle
that, but one of
injury
things
on
we
the
talked
road
about,
in
if
West
we leave it
Virginia
all on the
back in
court,
November
some of it we're
16th,
not going to be
but
able to control
set
at the
out
end,
that
and
Iowa
unfortunately,
State
we didn't
match
come
at
up on the
home,
winning
came
side of
back
it, but,
against Baylor, had 5
like I
kills
said
in that
before, I
epic
couldn't be
fifth set
prouder of this
battle
group
in
and
Waco,
what they've
Texas.
been
So
all
great
about all
start.
season.
How about that? Is Madison Rigdon leading the Big 12 in aces per set. It's a tough, has so much velocity, some side spin. It spins away from you, so you really have to cut off that angle if you're Sanford. But keep in mind, they haven't seen the Madison Rigdon serve yet.
Again, Kansas
Well, I think the
will
biggest
serve
thing,
aggressively, and
I
so
hope,
with that
you know,
come a few
besides
service
the
errors
rest
as
of the
well.
world
But the
or
Jayhawks
whatever,
out to a
I
2-1
just
lead.
hope the message gets to
Madison
our
Richmond has
underclassmen.
the
You know, we had a
ace
group
now.
of 5 seniors that worked really hard
There's
to develop
Theismann
a certain culture. You know,
for
we've always
Sanford.
had a
Bailey
fighting,
has to track
gritty
that one down.
culture in our program.
Rigdon
But
from the
it
back
takes
row
people that are willing
scores
to,
it for KU.
They don't just show up and then that happens. They don't just turn into gritty fighting
Keep in mind,
players.
we talk about the Big 12 Player of the
You have to
Year,
do things to
libero
make
of
that
the
happen.
year,
And
the
I
setter
thought
of
that
the
our
year,
5
but
seniors
Madison Rigdon
were
was a
a
first-team
great
All Big
leadership
12
in that way.
performer.
It's hard to lose 5, especially when they have been that crucial to the culture of your program because
Too strong for
not a lot
Cassie
of other
Waite. You don't
kids
see
have
that
to
very
do
often.
much. Yes, they
Aaron
follow
Bognar.
along. But now who's going to take over and who's
Bognar
going to
starting
have
off
that responsibility? And that's one of the things that we
with
talked
an
about
early
in the locker
start,
room.
just
You know,
I
learn from
mentioned
these
10th
seniors
in the
because they
nation
have
in
not
kills.
been just about this season and this year.
Definitely has
They've
a
been
heavy arm
about we want
swing,
to
and she
leave
can
something
provide that
behind
power.
for the freshmen, for the
Maddie
underclassmen,
Newsom
for the kids that are coming into our
Sanford.
program in the future. So, you know, that's the way you say thank you to the group of seniors is you feed off of what they've left.
Nice dig there from Newsom.
Thank you.
Outside, they were looking for Jada Burse, but it'll be point to Sanford.
And just not a cleanly executed play from Kansas. So that's going to get Havili in the net on that set attempt. The ball passed too close to the